Hi Leo, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I'm here for your May 2016 monthly tarot reading. If you've watched some of the videos I posted, May videos I posted earlier, you'll notice I'm doing a completely different spread because I did a bunch of those all on the same day and I was really feeling it, and I wasn't feeling like doing that spread again, so I'm not. Okay, so let's get going. We have the Magician come out first. That's a wonderful card for May. That's all about manifesting, setting your intentions, and starting to make things happen on the physical plane. So not just feeling creative, but actually taking those creative ideas or those any sort of thoughts and starting to actually put them into action. So that's a great way to go into the springtime. And then we have the Page of Swords, communication, new communication. Some of you may be getting some sort of news in the month of May. Whoops. Seven of Swords. Someone may be behaving badly around you. But we have the Fool as well. So some new beginnings, new messages. 3 cards already of new. In the middle here's the Nine of Wands, and that's a card of perseverance. The Tower. Tower's been coming out a lot lately. Oh, there we go. They all fell out. The King of Swords under the Page. The Ace of Cups, another new beginning card. And the Wheel of Fortune, a change. At the bottom of the deck is the Four of Swords. So this points to some sort of healing, stillness, meditation, quieting your mind, I call this my give yourself a break card. Just gotta learn to let some things go that are sort of mentally exhausting you or causing you anxiety or stress. Quieting your mind, letting all that go because it's not constructive at all. And just taking a time out, giving yourself permission to stop worrying and giving yourself a break, a time out, to just sit and be quiet. And sometimes in that stillness, we can have new thoughts, new way of looking at things. And I think the Tower is probably the catalyst that will bring that Four of Swords, that need for quiet, for meditation, for rest, for letting go of, you think of the Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords, of mental anguish, letting that go, letting go of regret, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, not allowing past issues to continue to dampen the present, and not worrying about the future since it hasn't even happened yet. And those types of thinking that us humans are so attached to, that brings so much anguish into our lives. And let me tell you, I know it's way harder than it sounds. So don't. I'm not preaching. I feel like if I just read these cards and these messages over and over again, hopefully they will, like through osmosis or just hearing them enough, sink into me and I will get it. But I feel like I'm really far from that. So the Magician. Let's see, let's just look at the major arcana. That's always a good one. Oh, it's interesting. In the four directions here, we have the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool, and the Tower. Pretty powerful, interesting major arcana cards. The Magician, the Fool, the Page, the Cups, all by just the nature of the card itself, whether it's because it's an ace or a page. They're about new beginnings, communications, and then the magician, the fool are always new beginnings. And so actually the Wheel of Fortune is to things changing, things turning. In the Tower, it's the ultimate change card. So any change, just by its very nature, creates a new beginning. I'm going to focus on the Tower a little bit more, because the lesson of the Tower, the Tower is sort of a cringe-worthy card. But first of all, I do this myself. When I read cards, I get the Tower, I think, oh my, you know, Christ, my whole life is going to go up in flames. Well, no, often this is just one particular area, and it can't even be a small area. And remember, sometimes small things we can allow to cloud our whole life. But then, once it calms, like you can have an incident at work and you can be up all night for several days and worry about it, and it can literally drown out everything else going in your life. But once you kind of get over that anxiety and panic and quiet your mind, like the Four of Swords, you realize that was just a very small part of your life. It doesn't even going to make a difference in a week, month, year from now. And it just got totally blown out of proportion, but truly was not significant in the grand scheme of things. So that's often how these types of things play out. Very rarely, I think, is it going to be, your house burns down or something crazy like that. Very rarely, if, ever. Most people go through life never having a house burned down, if you know what I mean. And another good way to use tarot is to actually go back and, if you get a personal reading, especially because these general readings are very, very general and try to be very broad. But even the general readings, go back and after the fact, after the week, and read it and watch the reading and see if you can see how those cards may have fit into your week. And you'll start to realize that they tend to be usually very mundane things, and they can have a spiritual impact, which the cards really talk about. But it can be in more subtle ways than when you're kind of watching a reading and the Tower comes out and it's very sort of shocking and worrisome. The whole lesson of the Tower card, the Tower card is one of the most beneficial cards in the deck, because it's shaking the foundation. It's getting rid of all that is not sustainable or solid, something you can build upon. So say you're in a relationship and something happens and the relationship falls apart. Well, that relationship didn't have longevity, or else, you know what I mean? Or else it would have survived the Tower. It could be just timing, where you are in your life, but it kind of doesn't matter, because it wasn't going to last. And if you can, it's kind of like a lot of bad situations, not all of them, but a lot of them, the thing that's really tragic about them is if you don't find the wisdom in them moving forward, if you stay stuck in the negative aspect. And of course, if this is, something very tragic, that's horrible, and you stay there as long as you want. I'm not saying get over it. But say you lost a job. It can be very traumatic, but maybe it's the catalyst to really do what you love. And you hated that job anyway, and maybe your behavior actually did lead to it, because on some subconscious level, you wanted to get out, but you couldn't bring yourself to do it, type of thing. And I see this happening in relationships too. You really, on some level, want out of the relationship, but you don't have the courage or whatever to get out, or you're financially, you feel tied to it. And maybe instead of being upfront with your partner, you start drifting away, and then maybe they cheat on you because they feel alone. And so in the end, like, the relationship falls apart because it was pretty much doomed, because you weren't really in it anyway, if that makes any sense. Again, those are big issues that don't necessarily have to be anything that impactful, but Yeah. So in situations where we can't bring ourselves, and I'm just going to use the job and the relationship because it's low hanging fruit, to find a new job or to to change careers, the tower comes in and sort of takes care of it for you. But a lot of people say this is out of our control. But I think sometimes if you look back, you can see some patterns in yourself that may have led up to the tower because it's not something you could bring yourself to kind of tackle head on for usually because of fear and worry and things like that. But in the wake of this tower are all these new beginning cards. In the middle is perseverance. So you have the strength to endure whatever may go on in some part of your life this month, and it's going to lead to all these beautiful new beginnings. So I would welcome it. His fire's still going. He's still standing tall. You got this. Okay, you're a fire. I'm doing Leo, right? You're a fire sign. So you have the ambition and the drive to come out stronger on the other side, 100%. So you're learning to manifest things. And here's this new beginning, this taking a risk, this going for it card. So you're balanced between either wanting to create something new with the magician, persevering, okay? Maybe you have a situation where things aren't, with the Seven of Swords, things aren't just sort of going the way you feel comfortable with. And so you can either stay in that sort of situation, which isn't comfortable, or you can choose to leave. And I think if you don't really choose to leave, something will happen that may sort of make it either very clear you cannot stay there anymore, or somehow, yeah, you'll have to leave just because you either hit rock bottom with the situation or something else comes about. And this is maybe communicating. Yeah, okay, I just got it. Sorry. I was just saying how sometimes our behaviors subconsciously, we sort of create the tower because, so the choices here are sort of allowing things, not sort of dealing with things head on because we're afraid, and that the tower comes in, whether we create it subconsciously or not, or meeting things head on, taking a risk, and making the changes ourselves and taking a leap of faith. Those are sort of the two ways. Now, I think either way it's going to happen. And because the Wheel of Fortune is turning, things are changing this month for you. But either way, um, you know, below the tower is the Ace of Cups, like a new emotional beginning, new happiness, fulfillment, new beginnings and emotion. So this is the beauty in the wake of the tower. We have the Ace of Cups. So you can see, if you can see the wisdom and the beauty in the aftermath of the tower, you have this Ace of Cups coming to you, which is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, really. It's like a hug. It's like a hug of happiness and feeling like everything is going to be okay and looking forward to the future. And we also have wisdom down here with the King of Swords. So again, gaining wisdom from the situation and a new beginning in a positive way. I think I'm going to leave it there. That's a really cool reading, and yeah, let me know how it turns out. I wish you a wonderful May, Leo. Thank you so much for stopping by. Take care.